Probably would have been easier to go around the other way, but I'll move this so you don't have to. There you go. So you should know we're live, so you can wave to the camera. We probably started a few minutes early. Hello, Facebook and YouTube. We just had things going because we have been religiously late starting the wake up hour. So this time we wanted to be on time, even if we weren't in a room. You guys give us just a few more minutes and we'll be all ready for you. Well, since you're here, Dr. Murphy, you can talk to the people to kill time.
Oh, well, we won't be killing time, we'll be using time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was, I wouldn't say necessarily shocked by one of the finalists in the runoff, but I was shocked regarding Ms. Lightfoot's success. I think that it's an impressive success that she achieved in this election, being one of the final two. And I was surprised, one, because during the entire campaign, I heard very little from Lori Lightfoot other than articles that I read that was written about her during the course of the campaign. I did not see any ads, although I heard that there were ads, but I never saw an ad by Lori Lightfoot. What I read at the Sun-Times endorsements of her, two impressive articles that extolled her tremendous personal virtues that she brings to the office. So I am happy for her. I would congratulate her on her success and look forward to learning more about her vision for Chicago going forward. I was not surprised that Toni Preckwinkle was in the final two. I always projected that she would be, although there were some less than flattering revelations about President Preckwinkle, particularly her ties to Ed Burke and the whole corruption scandal. But I was not at all surprised that she made it to the runoff. And so now what we have on the one side is a strong party boss in Preckwinkle. And trust me, all of the Democratic Party's resources will be mounted to push her into the mayor's office. And so for Lightfoot, who seems to have tremendous momentum, she is a David going up against a Goliath. And I am disappointed that with all the attention given to the millennial vote, the millennials simply did not show up.
Didn't show up?
That was embarrassing. I saw Jedediah Brown, who got slaughtered. And
He didn't even, he didn't rank?
Oh, well, I have the results of.
And he was supposed to have been riding on the road millennial activism. That was supposedly his base. Well, his base didn't show up.
Well, I want to do a warm welcome to all of social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Hello. Everybody wave hello.
Hey.
I'm Dr. Shante.
Dr. Murphy?
And Ro Davis.
Yeah, so we don't mind you guys hearing the shop talk, but I actually wrote down the results, and this wake up hour is specifically covering post-election day for the city of Chicago. And first one I want to talk about is the city clerk, Anna Valencia, who was uncontested. However, I remember I did early voting. Didn't you all say two other people's names on the ballot there? I said I was going to do more research for the city clerk.
Oh, yeah, I didn't understand.
I didn't even vote for a city clerk. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, well, I actually did a write-in. I have been listening to a lot of the social media, and Doc Walls was, himself as a write-in candidate, and I shared that information. So I actually wrote him in. But for some reason, it shows up on the results that she was uncontested.
He probably didn't get a significant enough vote.
How many votes did Doc Walls get?
Well, the thing about it is, well, he did a write-in campaign. I'm not sure. What they're saying is they somehow disqualified all of the other people for that particular position. And they have it that this woman ran uncontested.
Mm.
So if you look at the information now, and I actually did just try to go to the Board of Election Commissioners, maybe their website is on the fritz because of everything that happened, but I was able to get these poll results in from the Chicago Sun-Times. It said she was uncontested, and I know that wasn't true because I did not vote for her, so not for the position of city clerk. So I certainly was gonna ask you, Dr. Murphy, about that, if they could take people off and say, you know, within minutes or days or of the election, because those people were on there. And then from what I understand, there's something circulating about them protesting them being removed from the ballot. But that was just one small, because the mayor is such a big one. But I did want to mention that and to see if you guys heard anything about that. So for all of you watching, the city clerk is Anna M. Valencia, and it's saying that she was uncontested. However, we have reason to believe that there is some controversy going on about the other candidates that were knocked off the ballot at the last minute, it seems. For city treasurer, we had 3 people
Well,
running.
let me just say something there.
Mm-hmm.
It is my understanding, just like all public offices, a person has to qualify to be on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
They have petitions to circulate, they have a requisite number that they must submit that's valid,
Mm-hmm.
and if they meet that threshold, they are on the ballot.
They were on the
I
electronic
have
ballot.
no knowledge of a person being on the ballot, and then the election commission can just unilaterally decide to take them off. That's my understanding.
But these
You-
people were on, when you, because we did the electronic ones, and they asked you for each person, you did the mayor, you did your alderman, and then you did the other 2 positions that were up for election. I remember seeing that, and what they are trying to say is that they were on there by mistake.
Okay, if that's what they're saying, then you could go back and see that those candidates didn't meet the requisite requirements to be on the ballot. That's a possibility.
But those people are contesting it because I believe that they did. So,
Okay,
so
all right.
that's what we're waiting to see what's happening there. I was just wondering if yourself or Roland heard anything about it. From when I looked at the results, I know for a fact that I'm like, wait a minute, this person was not uncontested. So that was one of the things I wanted to mention about the city clerk. And then we have the city treasurer, Melissa Conyers-Irvin,
That's what
Amaya Power, I'm sorry if I'm
Hayward.
Paywar, sorry, and Peter Gariepi. And so we have Melissa coming in at 44.3% of the vote, and Amaya Power coming at 41.3% of the vote.
So they're in a runoff.
They're in a runoff for April 2nd. But if we translate that to votes, Melissa got 121,953, and Amaya got 113,685 votes. So they're in a runoff for that.
Melissa is a black candidate, correct?
I believe she was a Clerks Brown endorsed candidate.
Okay. So definitely somebody to pay attention to.
Mhm.
Jason Irvin's wife.
Oh, this is right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
28.
Yeah, so before we get into the good stuff, because everybody's ready to,
almost a lone dissenter against Ron and city government practices. He's
Okay.
kind of been out there by himself because he would break rank with the Democratic position on a lot of stuff, especially Gary McCarthy when he was superintendent.
okay,
Jason Irvin would be on his ass.
wow, wow.
So let's hit it. You got the automatic?
I do not have all of the automatic races because there is not enough time in the wake-up hour to go over 50 wards or even the 18 that are specific to the black demographic, but there are 3 in particular that have been in the news and up for controversy. Well, with the controversy. I want to mention first the 6th ward because we are headquartered in the 6th ward. So we have Roger T. Sawyer as the winner of that race at 51.3%. He only won with 2,269 votes. But
Hold on. Repeat that number.
2,269 votes.
That's who put out all, that's the
Number of people that
out
put,
all the minutes.
yes, for the 6th ward, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what was reported as of 7:45 yesterday. with 55% of the precincts having reported their results.
55% had produced
Yeah.
2,200.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, so they were able to get these results based on those numbers.
I
And
thought so
again, I
so
was trying to
now-
look
so
today.
So now, Sawyer got 51% of the vote at the 55% point.
Yes.
And so if he can maintain a 50+ percentage, when they get through with the final count,
Mm-hmm.
see, they still got absentee ballots to vote, there's still some mortality.
Of
So,
course.
if he ends up at 50+, then he's not even in the general election, he is the new alderman.
He is, there it is.
But if he happens to fall slightly below that 50, then he's in the runoff with the second person.
Right, and that's who I'm gonna bring up next, which is a woman, Deborah A. Foster Brown. She came up with 30% of the vote at 1,326 votes for the 6th ward. And the third person was Richard A. Wooten at 831 votes, so he got 18.8% of the wards.
I thought that the voter turnout was low. Was
Oh,
it documented?
It was very low.
Almost record low.
Yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
I went to the polls to vote and I walked right up.
Well, you know, there was also a lot of early voting that took place as well. But still, with the amount of people in the city registered to vote.
This was a dismal turnout. I don't care how you try to spin it. You know, if people, the typical rule is that you get a slightly heavier turnout in the general election because things are cut a lot clearer. When you have, although in the wards, there seem to have been maybe a couple or 2, 3 people challenging the incumbent. And so the incumbent always has the advantage, and from the turnout, most of the incumbents prevail, you know. And so, but most of them, it looks, from what I've read, will be in a runoff going up to April 2nd. And so, that's a second option for the millennials to weigh in.
To come in and
Whether they will or not is another question.
that's
But
very
look,
true.
in the last Rom election 4 years ago, only 25% of the black electorate turned out to vote. 25%. That's a dismal record. And this election doesn't seem to have altered that turnout.
I don't think, yeah, no.
We're going to be right back there. And now the decision for us, I can celebrate because if the current numbers hold up, Chicago is going to have its second black mayor and the first black woman mayor.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that is amazing to me because you had some impressive candidates spending a lot of money. Bill Daley had more money than anybody.
And I want to wait for that because I want to get these alderman ones out the way so that, you know, one of the last things that we discussed is the mayor. So I wanted to get there, not
Okay.
saying that they're small elections, they're very important. But just to mention the 6th ward in the neighborhood of Chatham, and it may cross over into other districts. But because we're headquartered in the 6th ward, I thought I would mention
Yes.
the 6th ward. Another ward I wanted to mention is the 20th ward. And that is because of the publicity and media they've been getting about the Obama Center in that ward. It was just as many mayoral candidates as it was automatic candidates in that ward, and no one was over 50%. I mean,
So they're gonna have to go to a
I
runoff.
didn't even look to see.
Yeah, they
It was,
have to.
yeah, they're gonna have to, but their numbers were
Which
still
when
very
somebody's
low.
over 50, you don't have a runoff.
Does it come down to the last 2 people or the top 2 people?
The top two.
Okay.
The top
The
two,
top two.
and everything else falls off. And I didn't even look to see, because when I looked, it was like 0.3%. It was not, you know, it looked really bad. So I was like, you know what, I don't live in a ward, we're not headquartered in a ward, so I didn't do, the only reason I just took a gander at it is because I know that the Obama Center was something that was of interest for that ward.
Did
So-
Kevin Bailey had the most, he did?
No, I don't believe that he did. And actually on my phone, which is recording right now, has the screenshots that I took of all of the wards. Because I do have that information to compile in a different way. Just didn't have enough time as the coverage was coming in to compile all of that. And the last ward I want to mention, because of this very controversial person, Ed Burke, winning in the 14th ward at 53.2% of his votes, and that came out to 1,826 votes.
For who?
Ed Burke.
1,000 what?
He's the 14th ward alderman again.
And he had how many votes?
1,826 votes.
So that means that only about 3,600 people in that ward came out to vote.
Yeah, they didn't come, even though there were other people.
So he's
There
unanimously,
was two other,
Yeah.
which I thought was dumb, that Garcia and them couldn't work that down to a one-on-one contest. But they let two Hispanics go into that race.
They did.
Split the Hispanic vote. And so they just gave Burke the
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to mention that because with all the controversy and the investigation, the FBI and the corruption, he still prevailed. And I believe you said that he said
oh yeah,
he
yeah.
would.
He said, I'm not only gonna run, I'm gonna win. Burke.
Bert.
Burke.
Yeah, yeah.
He understood his base.
He understood. They got it, you know. So now, I mean, let's bring it down back to the mayoral election. So I have some percentages here. Even though we know who the top two runners are, let's at least just discuss the other candidates anyway. So of course we have Lori Lightfoot coming in at 17% of the vote. That was 51,103 votes. Tony Preckwinkle, 15.5%, 46,707. William Daley at 14.7%, and that was 44,155. Willie Wilson at 10.2%, and that's 30,768. They were the top four runners for the primaries. I said that too. I said, all right, Willie, Dr. Wilson, all right. He has had a consistent loyal
10%.
base. He certainly has. So I was very impressed because not to speak down or anything.
I never heard him say nothing about what his vision for the city was.
Well, he has a strong base, but I'll finish these numbers here. Susanna Mendoza comes after Willie Wilson at 9.3%, and that's 28,128 votes. Jerry
Now,
Joyce.
Stop there. Mendoza.
Yes.
She ran an extensive, impressive line of ads.
She did?
Always.
I saw her.
Yeah.
I saw her
I never
ads.
heard Willie Wilson have no ads.
No, yes, man.
I didn't see it.
understand what he's saying.
I didn't see any. I didn't see
I
anything
saw him
on
all the
TV.
time on Fox News,
Oh,
WFL.
I don't watch Fox, and I don't really watch a lot of TV either. So I know I saw Susanna
Why the
Mendoza
hell
online.
would his ads be running on Fox?
She's a Republican.
He's a Republican.
Oh, yes.
Willie Wilson. We ain't judging.
I actually saw
We're not
everybody's-
judging, but I didn't.
Everybody's ads. I saw Gary Chico ran quite a few ads.
Yeah.
Bill Daley ran a lot of them. Mendoza ran a lot of them.
I didn't see
Even Joyce, and I've never heard of
Yeah, Joyce, John Joyce or whoever.
Excuse me.
So Jerry Joyce definitely came in. Oh, you want me to pull up?
Tomorrow did.
I'm getting down the list. You
Oh,
guys
wow.
keep on.
He's still,
There's 14 people. I
Oh,
was
wow.
getting
Go
on
ahead,
down
go
the
ahead.
list. Y'all start conversations for each one. I'm like, we're gonna be in here all night if we discuss everybody's. But let's see here. We have Jerry Joyce at 8.1%, and that was at 24,513 votes. Amara Anya comes next at 7.8% with 23,321 votes. Jerry Chico at 6.5% of the vote,
Wow.
19,630 votes. Next comes Paul Vallis at 5.7%, and he had 16,993 votes. Next came Gary McCarthy at 2.8%.
Good.
And and that is at 8,504 votes. The next candidate, LaShawn Ford, at 0.9% of the vote, at 2,817 votes. Next is Bob Fioretti at 0.8%, and his is 2,302 votes. Next is John Kozler at 0.4% of the vote with 1,311 votes. And last but not least, Neil Sales Griffin at 0.3% of the vote with 774 votes. So that is the entire listing for the polls that had reported all of their votes from all precincts, which were about 55% of that as of 7:45 last night. So as far as those other totals and where everyone actually fell, I think are negligible, seeing that we've already got the top two.
Yeah. But you know, I tell you, the low voter turnout.
I mean, millennials, come on, you're making us look bad. Where were you? Where were
The
you?
low voter turnout,
Come on.
especially even with the millennials showing, it speaks volume to the task at hand.
Yes.
And this is why we need organizations like Black Coffee that will begin to educate us politically, because many of us just have not seen the value in voting, so it has created somewhat of an apathetic point of view towards the process. And people just don't believe it.
I think it is apathy. I mean, I think maybe with some of the millennials, given their age, there could be an emotionally charged, where something like, oh, I don't care anymore, and then they just don't show up.
Right.
Not realizing that not caring still hurts you. Even if it couldn't be your candidate, it's still important to come out and vote. And millennials, come on, we may be millennials, but we're still getting older. We're still getting older.
Right.
And those older people showed up. They gave them a spanking at the polls yesterday. They put us over their knee and spanked us at the polls. In my opinion, the older electorate came on out and said, oh, these young whippersnappers ain't got to control, they came out.
I really think that we have to change our point of view around the fact, or what people think is a fact, that politics is ineffective. Politics is very effective at, the job that it's been created to do. The problem is we have not been playing the game of politics correctly. And that's one of the things that Black Coffee seeks to change. The thing in the conversation, based on what people have imagined as a flaw in the system, would be correct if we had the data correctly. We just have not played the game effectively enough to actually get what politics has the power to deliver.
And that is true, but nobody's ever taught us the rules of the game.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, you ask the average person about politics as Chance the Rapper did the skit about him being a reporter. And he found that people didn't even have a basic knowledge.
Right.
Like who their alderman was, what ward they lived in.
Yeah.
Some didn't even know they lived in the city of Chicago. This is actually what you call politically retarded demographic.
Yes, that is the word. And I mean, and on that note, would you like to make that the term for the day?
What is that? What term?
Our political term for the day. In light of the election, what comes to mind? What you're inspired to educate us on?
I would say that we need to launch a comprehensive basic political education class
Okay.
throughout the Black community.
All right.
Even among the high voting demographics, the older ones, because you must realize that's a shrinking demographic.
Which one?
Older voters.
The older electorate. Okay.
And so, and if they're voting at the highest level, and on the opposite end, young people who hold the political future of our community in their hands vote at the lowest level, we're in political trouble.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
only key to that is to educate and grow a a more politically informed voting population in our communities.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so with that, what is the political term of the day to make sure I
I just said it, and I figured out what I said. But it was basic political education.
That's political term, basic political education. All right, I'm gonna put that on the Black Coffee page. Give me a second here. Make sure that it seems that our interruption, our broadcast said it was interrupted. Why? No, it says it's still here, huh? Why is it a low connection, huh? Sorry, YouTube, I moved some things. All right. Okay, so you weren't here for some of the percentages that that I said to everybody already, but I did write them down here for you to see where some of the other candidates fell on this. And what I would like to, I guess, encourage people today where you stumped really hard for a candidate and they didn't necessarily make it, what an appropriate and mature attitude should be moving forward. We still have to select a mayor. We don't just drop everything now and say, okay, I'm done, I don't want to do anything more because my person didn't get in. And I'm speaking to myself as well because the person I voted for isn't in the top two. So now I have to regroup and research on the top two here. And really quick public service announcement. Black Coffee has started another poll, and you will see it where it has Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle in this poll. Please share it to your social media pages. Please share it to any groups that you're in. Anyone in the city of Chicago, please, 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 white, black, Latina, blue, green, we don't care. Please participate in this poll so that we can see who the people on social media, at least, would choose now that we have these two black women. And I'm very interested to see because it seems to be the what I want to say, 3 times hatred. They're black, they're women, and their sexual orientation is under question. So they are under fire.
Ooh, that's Lori Lightfoot.
They are under fire. Well, some people are speculating and saying this about Tony in her appearance.
Then maybe all of them, both of them did.
So that's what I'm saying. They're black,
But
they're
Lori
women.
is on it.
She has. And that's Lori's case. You know, she's denied 3 times now. You know, she's denied 3 times now. She's black, she's a woman, and she's gay.
She
So-
denied, you said.
You know, it's a joke. You know how
No,
you
she's
know
like,
how Jesus.
Jesus was denied.
it's probably a bad.
Just a way to say it.
You know, but that's something that's very real. Now we have a level of homophobia that is going to discriminate against her. You know, it's already bad enough. There's a lot of misogynists out there that already don't feel women can do anything, especially black women. You're calling us all kinds of names, and it's personally offensive. But I've been saying it since the beginning of the year. It's the year of the black woman. They've been definitely taking control of executive-like offices across the country. And here we have a very special case, you know, where one of the front runners are openly gay when there's a stigma connected to the LGBTQ community, especially in some of the things. And I think what some people are afraid of, you know how when you hear a person is gay and the fear is immediately, oh my God, they're gay, they're gonna try to have sex with me. Oh my God, they're gay, they're gonna touch me and I'm gonna get the gay cooties, or you know. So now you're hearing across social media because she's gay and she has a strong base of support that now gay
Who understands
now
the
gay,
power of politics
and now gay,
properly exercised.
now gay people, what I'm saying is the fears that are starting to circulate, some of the comments and things I've been watching, is now they think that the transgenders and all the gay people are gonna start making laws and making our kids go to school with their kids and turn, like, these are real fears that need to be addressed, I think.
Well, but people need to also understand that the lawmaking product is well within the hands of the voter.
Yes.
But the voter must be organized to exert that power. You cannot exert it. You can't win a horse race by just going to the racetrack and watching the other horses race. The only way you can win at the racetrack is pick a horse and place your bet. And politics is the same way. We just can't be around the election having conversations about who we want to win.
Right.
Yes.
And you ain't never registered to vote. It don't matter what you think. And so what we have now is not a discussion about the sexual orientation, the race. Yeah, we need to know something about their relevant background experience for the office they pursue. But more importantly, we need to know a clearly articulated vision from each of the candidates as to what they plan to do if they are elected by the people to serve as mayor. And so I've read some impressive things from Ms. Lightfoot's camp as expressed in the 2 articles written by the Sun-Times, which I thought they were powerfully well-written articles and really served as a great thing. I'm also noting here that the big money didn't win.
That's a very powerful point.
But before you guys get to that, how would you address these homophobias? How would you address it? Because that's gonna, and this could just be me making it up, but I feel that could be something to potentially hurt Ms. Lightfoot.
Well, I would think, now, it is, and I certainly fall in the older school of voters. I was pleased to see that it was my demographic that voted at a high percentage in the document. I was not.
You said, say again? The last part?
When you get to the 44 to late 50s, big jump in their participation.
Okay.
When you got to the group older than that, 60 and over, it was the highest percentage voted group.
But who did they vote for?
Oh, well, I don't know about
You
that.
Well, obvious who they voted.
They didn't vote, well, see, most.
Oh, you're talking about who did the older
The
people?
older people vote for, because who did
Frank
they
Wynn.
come out and, well, she probably got
Lord
some.
Lightfoot, because they the ones still reading the Sun-Times.
We would never be able to answer that question specifically, but obviously, the volume of votes they contributed probably was spread, and I would say older voters probably went more with a traditional candidate, somebody they could relate to as a candidate.
Like Frank
And so,
Wynn or
yeah,
David.
once you got beyond them and got down to the Jerry Joyces, the Amaras, the LaShawn Ford, even Robert, I mean, it just kind of spread out.
It's
But when
spread
you look at the actual numbers here, in the top 3, they were just a couple thousand votes apart from each other.
Right, it speaks
So
volumes
they
to what
was
we can
right
do.
there, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Then you drop down to Willie, he got 30,000 votes, when the
But that
top
was-
vote getter didn't get but 51. That's pretty good. But all of this is really, and no matter how you cut it, is look, what are we looking at? And this is the thing that I saw and made me agonize over Dorothy Brown's failure. 5, 13, 30, 50, 70. We're talking about 200,000 votes. That's all. In a city with, now it's gonna be more coming out in the general.
Generals, yes,
You know.
yeah.
And a lot of the voters say, unless they got a real aim to support a particular candidate, a lot of them don't really give a care about the primary.
And that's what they should care about, the primary, right?
Well,
Take those two
well,
votes.
I would say,
Facebook is
yes and
so
no.
many
if you have a
interruptions.
strong inkling that you want to see your person in the final 2, then you damn sure would vote. if your attitude is, now I
They
think,
are.
Miss Irving, who's running for city treasurer, I think deserves our support because she seems to be carrying forth the same policy direction as Kurt Summers. And, you know, to more equitable investment in the neighborhoods and get away from this downtown concentration of public money going into economic development. And so, her opponent has some good things to say too. But my instincts say I would cast my faith with Miss Irving, even though her opponent.
Yeah, we need to push off the edge.
Seems to be oppressive, you know. But I would much rather believe that it's a black person controlling the city's investment portfolio
Yes.
and will be more concentrated on getting those investment dollars into the black community
Yes.
than a foreigner who
Yeah.
has no relationship with the black community.
That's a very good point.
Yes, we need to, and she seems to be right at the edge. We need to do all we can to tip her over the edge.
Well, I certainly have already drafted the formal invitations for everybody that has a runoff in April to come and meet with us now that we know who those people are. So what I wanted to ask you, Roland, was your opinion about what I was talking about with the potential homophobia with the candidates. What do you think?
I mean, I certainly know and believe that homophobia is out there, and I may be embellishing what I'm about to say based on how I feel about it. You know, I think that it's a little easy.
How do you feel about it?
I think it is fundamentally against the, you know, code of conduct for black people. You know, in our soul, we don't, that's not something we really embrace. We become more tolerant of it in recent years, as everyone has. But one thing that I guess that may make a difference here is that it's not a homosexual male, it's a lesbian woman. And I think the lesbian women are easier to, for me, and that's why I said maybe embellishing it, but I can deal with lesbian women. Right, I don't know how I would feel about that. And I'm not saying anything to put homosexual men down. I just think that the world is more tolerant of lesbian women than they are of homosexual men. And I'm making that up. It ain't the truth. I just think that, I think that given the choice, and I'm also making this up, between Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle, Lori Lightfoot, that's something we have to deal with. I'd rather deal with that to avoid machine politics. And I think this, Tony has been associated with the machine. And I actually think that, you know, because, you know, sometimes there's a moment like when Obama really captured the imagination of our nation. And people actually that wouldn't necessarily historically get behind a black man actually decided to cast their vote for a black man. I say that in comparison.
She said, yes, we can.
Yes, we can. I say that because, you know, by Lori Lightfoot actually being the first African-American woman and openly gay is something that actually could capture the imagination of people in terms of the more tolerant
I don't think
attitude.
she's the first.
I mean,
Well,
that's running for an office. She
that's
would be
Chicago.
for Chicago,
Yeah.
not openly gay.
Not openly
For
gay,
mayor.
right, but in
Yeah.
this particular instance, you know, this is one of the things that highlights her, I think.
Right, and I think that it would be a rally cry for the LGBT community to come out in mass numbers. And I think that she, despite that, is more favored than Tony Preckwinkle.
I think so. I believe
Yeah.
so. A lot of, but I mean, there is so, and I want to just read some of the comments. I'm
Well,
certainly going to.
according to this, so far, favored over Preckwinkle by roughly 5,000 votes.
not so much, huh?
Tony
Because
came
what
in
happened?
second.
Yeah, so what happens with the numbers here now gonna be?
I'm surprised that Daley would have conceded with these percentages because there's 30 county. We don't know what them 30. Looks to me like William Daley could pick. He is less than a percentage point under Tony. Another 4 percentage point would put him at 15.7. You know, now I'm sure those 31,000 votes gonna spread all over this scale here.
Yes.
But if those votes fall comparable to the way these votes have fallen, if it stayed pretty consistent, then Daley would still end up being a third and not make it. But if the thing dramatically was different, where he got a lot more of those votes than Tony could conceivably end up not being in the runoff and Daley joining him. So I don't really understand why he conceded when he's less than a point.
Yeah, but are you saying that some more votes could have come in to change the
We know
election?
there's more votes they gotta count. They got 31,000 absentee ballots to count.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting.
Yeah. And that was only 55% of the precincts reporting this data that's come from, so they still.
So they still haven't
So
tallied
that's some
it
new
today?
numbers then.
There's gonna, right, and that's why I wanted to be clear about these percentage numbers, is that's with 55% of the precincts that had reported by 7:45 PM last night. So, there it is, with that, So, again, I want the viewers to know that Black Coffee Political Alliance has a poll, an active poll going right now between Lori Lightfoot and Tony Preckwinkle. Please, please, please remember to share those polls. Expose it to as many people as you can. We don't care if they're white, black, Hispanic, whatever they are. Please participate in the polls because it is for research purposes. We want to be able to document these things as they're happening, and your participation will be just greatly appreciated. Your votes still count. Your votes still matter, even now, even if your person isn't a front runner. What do you think, Dr. Murphy, about any of these people lining up their support base behind someone? What do you think what traditionally happens? This is a new season for me, so I'm.
Well, they will, the other candidates will endorse someone now. What you can probably expect is that, given Tony Preckwinkle is the party boss in Cook County, that those true Democrats in the field here is probably going to line up to support Tony. That will be the orders from Madigan and Springfield. That will be the orders from the National Democratic Party at the federal level. Because what the Democrats are fighting to do is to control the third largest city in America. That is a huge prize. Preckwinkle is a Democrat. Lori Lightfoot isn't.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
So a lot of money is going to come
But
to
I
push
expect
Preckwinkle.
that Daley is going to line up behind Preckwinkle.
Okay.
Mendoza behind Preckwinkle.
Okay.
Joyce behind, I don't know Joyce. Amara, more than likely Lightfoot. I don't see her as a card-carrying Democratic loyalist.
Okay.
Jerry
Chico.
Chico,
Definitely Preckwinkle.
Dallas
Preckwinkle. Okay.
LaShawn McCarthy, Preckwinkle.
Okay.
LaShawn Ford, Preckwinkle.
Preckwinkle. Okay.
He could deviate, but we'll see. Fioretti, Preckwinkle. But look, John Kozlaw, okay, Preckwinkle. But look, they weren't big vote getters no way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that the endorsement means very much. And that was about where I thought Ford was going to end up. He didn't even get 1% of the vote. Not 1%.
No. Why would you have come to that conclusion about Ford?
I just thought that the nature and strength of his candidacy, the way he came out, he would not be a significant vote getter.
Okay.
I mean, the first mistake I thought he made right out the gate was saying he's gonna be mayor of the West Side.
Oh, LaShawn?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I think he did, it could have alienated a lot of voters by
well, of
having
course
such a
he-
concentration on the west
he
side of Chicago.
alienated me. I thought you was running to be not mayor.
Yeah, I'm a south side person too, so
And
when
I
it was
saw
kinda
one-
like
I
west
saw
side, it
one
was kinda
full
like,
sign
yeah.
on 87th Street as you get up to Western.
I
The
thi-
only sign I saw, I said, damn, why would you put the only sign he got on the south side up here? I'm a black folks riding down here.
Because you're from the west side. No, but I think, as a community, as we seek to evolve and grow politically more conscious, I think that LaShawn's candidacy, was a wake-up call, to those of us who are, you know, in terms of how we want to run a campaign. I think he had his
What not to do?
what not to do. I think
Yes,
that
okay.
it was, you know, I'm pro-black, you know, but I just think it was too black, too strong. And I think that he has to be, anybody that becomes the mayor of Chicago has to be the mayor of all of Chicago. And so I think that it was a bad idea to alienate the voters,
Yeah.
you know, and alienate
And I
the
don't
people
think that
who
he
turn
was
up.
trying to
Well, I don't
alienate
think
the
that,
votes,
but the
I
people,
think the people that was behind and running the scenes, they kind of alienated some
Yeah.
of the other
I agree.
demographics going too strong for him. There should have been some type of
Balance,
inclusion
yeah.
of other people in those campaigns as opposed to just saying he's the only candidate and it's this pro-black this and he's the next Dr. King, Harold Washington.
Let me ask a real question. I think we have to grapple with this. Should our position, I mean, we're all,
I know what you're about
think
to say.
all of us is pro-black.
Right?
Why do we have to say that anymore?
That's, yeah.
Why do we have
Oh,
to
well,
say that
because-
anymore?
Because people
But
think
now,
we're-
in this situation here, we have two people running for a public office. One of them is black and one of them is white or something else.
Okay.
And we're all black. Does that automatically mean that we behind the black candidate because he's black and we pro-black? Or should our decision be based on the relative merits of what each candidate proposes to bring to the district we live in?
Okay. Now
No,
that's,
I get that
that's
point.
the educated response.
No, that's the
People-
educated
that
response.
people want to actually fall on people to receive that. They think that because the person is black that they're going to do more for the black community. When in history it's been more other people
Well, you
doing
got
things.
18 black aldermen,
There it is.
right down
There
there.
it is. There's the point.
You have X number of black state representatives.
Bam.
You have blacks in Congress.
Bam. And look at the black
So
community.
does a black elected official, I thought we had been through that already since the 60s. What they call the era of tokenism, where they purposely gave us a new black everything, or first black everything. We got beat to death with that.
yeah, I agree with that.
So I guess Bobby Rush's endorsement meant. Because I interrupted you guys, but I didn't want to come back to
endorsed
this.
Hillary, didn't he?
Yes, I interrupted you guys, but I want to bring back because you said the big money didn't win, and you guys you were getting ready to say, you know, so we want to say something about that with the big money and not needing a whole lot of it. Although Preckwinkle did have a lot of money toward her campaign, but if you were to look at this list, you know,
Well, what I'm saying is, look at this. I don't know what Lori had.
$1 billion.
Big money. Big money.
big money.
Big money. Big money.
Man. So basically, Preckwinkle, Daley, Wilson, Mendoza, Joyce, big money.
And I'm assuming now that Lori Lightfoot had as much money as Jerry Joyce. I don't know that to be true.
The only thing I knew is that she raised $1 million. I don't know how
Lori
much.
Lightfoot.
Lori Lightfoot in the
I don't-
beginning.
Okay, all right.
In the beginning.
All right. So we can see from that, we can infer from that the first 6 finishers had big money.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that Lori Lightfoot had the benefit of something equal, if not superior to mine.
That endorsement.
She had the Sun-Times endorsement.
Yeah, I
They
think
wrote-
that was huge.
They wrote a powerful editorial
Yeah,
about her vision for the city. And
yeah.
then came back with another one just a week before the election, and then set up a site where you could go and read the full text of what they had to say about Lori Lightfoot.
Wow. I thought that was something huge because before that, she was underneath these candidates in a poll that the Sun-Times did. Remember at the very
Yeah.
beginning, and we were like, "Oh, it's too soon." It
She
wasn't
wasn't
enough people.
showing up on the
Yeah.
radar.
And also, that's why this was like everybody had the shock face because they were like, "Who?" we certainly thought it was going to be Daley, because of machine politics, and we did also think Preckwinkle, and that Wilson would be fall somewhere in there too. But Lightfoot to surpass
I
them
mean,
all,
I didn't even see her as a serious contender.
I did not either.
Lightfoot,
Lord. Yeah. Because I didn't really see much about her. I didn't see anything on social media. I didn't see, even though I liked her page so that, as Black Coffee, I went and liked all of their pages just to see what was happening and what was going on. But I didn't see a whole lot for her. So I was like, man, wow.
She started having commercials near the end
Okay.
on WFL.
Okay.
Fox.
Okay. Well, so for our viewers out there, big money did get them in the top running, but big money should not be needed. So for the people who are, you've already.
Let me say, see, there's a practical benefit of having resources to run a campaign.
Yes.
For example, how do you get your petition circulated
Yeah.
to get on the ballot?
And that's what knocked Dorothy out.
And then you have people that go out and do that, and they don't make a lot of money, but they get like $2 a page.
Yeah.
And I remember the guys I had the first time Dorothy was running for county clerk. We met with her and Cook over at Tropical Restaurant, and we took stacks of those forms. And Kim Fox was also running, and she had petitions we was filling out. Well, the guys was getting $2 a sheet, but damn man, you gotta go out there and get
Right.
20 sheets, 30 sheets. You done made them a cool $40-$60.
Mm-hmm.
And them guys would be anxious to do that because it put a little money in the pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and then there's other things. You're gonna have to have a campaign office, you need campaign staff, you need all of this. So to create a real presence, then you need
You
some
need
money
some
to do
capital.
that. Otherwise, your opponent has got no money
Right.
to present himself a lot better than you.
Yes.
And so, the money is important, but it's not, in my opinion, the most important thing. Manpower and message is really, but those things cost money. But if you have a strong core of volunteers, they can bring a lot of benefit to your campaign that you don't have to pay for.
Right.
Wow.
Well, I think that it's amazing to me, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised. This time around on the political scene, you had more indigenous black organizations begin to organize themselves around similar concepts as Black Coffee. And, you really, maybe because I'm tuned into politics more than I've ever been, it seemed like I just saw a lot of clamor, but that clamor and all of that organization didn't have a blip on the radar.
I thought about
You know what I'm saying? We didn't even
that.
make a dent, like nothing. I don't even see where we had impact, but I am excited that Black Coffee has officially positioned itself to be a player. But we got a lot of work to do, because I can't think of any one black organization that was able to actually put their guy in office. We were splintered.
And and then here's the thing, and there was I was actually a post that you made, Roland, about the pain you felt about that we couldn't be united. And I remember having a conversation with a lady on there. I can't remember who, but she was saying, "Oh, we were unified, you guys weren't." And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And I was like, "Well, unifying just because you get a poll later and it says that this person is a top runner, that's not unifying." You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
that's
y'all
just,
didn't gave us no real
that's
reason
it,
to
right.
unify.
Other than the fact that they leading in the polls and that they claimed what they want to do for the black community, but all the black candidates said that they want to do for the black community. So we all believed who we believed. I think unity comes in at the very beginning before that person announces their candidacy. Come to the groups of influence who are politically organizing so we can bring all our people to the room and actually look at you as a candidate and consider you amongst, and we make that decision together in the beginning. But don't throw all your hats in a ring and hope that my message is going to touch this person or that person, and then whoever ends up winning or gets the lead, oh, you're not unifying black people, you're spreading our vote. The vote was spread from the beginning. It was never unified.
I think that we got a lot of work to do over the next 4 years. I think that that's where Black Coffee is going to establish itself and really define what we're about as an organization. Is in the off season of politics.
It certainly
Well,
is.
really, if you think about it, there is no off-season.
Yeah, it's always
Elections every damn year.
Yeah, I
Just
know.
depends on which one.
Yeah.
At what level.
Right.
But Machiavelli gave a statement
Mm-hmm.
in his book titled The Prince.
Okay.
And Machiavelli is considered the father of Western political thought. If you ever study political science,
Yeah,
one
I'm
of the first
familiar with
textbooks you
Machiavelli.
look at is Machiavelli. And what Machiavelli says is that in the most important thing you do in creating a political movement is establish and build your body politic.
Body politics. See, that should have been the term for the day,
What
Dr.
will it be
Kirby.
next time?
Well, that's going to be the term for the next 4 years.
Yeah. Build your body politic.
Okay.
Now, listen to what he says as an analogy to that.
And just remind me.
Your body politic and your base is the same thing.
Yeah,
Body politic is an organized group of people,
Mm-hmm.
and they come together. And so he says, don't worry about the candidate.
Mm-mm.
If you got your base or body politic together, you can run a gorilla for office and he will win.
Can you tell me what was the political term again for the day? I just want to post it on Black Coffee real quick on the post. I keep forgetting too. It wasn't like your normal.
Probably wasn't a good term.
It wasn't like your normal terms. I didn't grasp it.
Tell you what, let's use body politic.
Thank you. Political term of the day. We're redefining the political term of the day is ...
Mhm.
Body
politics.
politics.
Okay?
Okay.
No S.
That's what we're going to
Body.
spend
Yeah.
our time doing.
Now the body politic is where, think of it this way. The United States of America and its citizens is a body politic.
Yes.
But
Hold on,
since,
we're almost done.
and so, the city of Chicago, in its municipal activity, is a body politic.
Mm-hmm.
And all the body politics tend to subdivide based on differences of political interests. And so the most common division we see in American electoral politics is the division between Republicans and Democrats.
Not bad, Larry. Like, let's go on.
Well, at least
I'm sorry, y'all. I got to go
You're
to
in trouble.
I'm in trouble. I ain't got no more
We don't want
respect.
you to have that problem in here, right when we are having our
it's okay, live. We're gonna
So what that says to us in
Okay.
understanding the body politic,
right.
Black Coffee must build its body politic.
Yes.
And it is our duties and responsibilities, if you read it, where you will clearly see the attention to building the body politic.
Yes.
What is a body politic? It is a group of people who have formed a membership, a cohesive membership within a political culture.
Yes.
And they are clear that they don't vote 1,000 different ways.
No,
They vote one way,
yes,
according to the general consensus of the membership body.
yes.
Then, once we got that together,
Mm-hmm,
then we can pretty much, based on understanding where our strength in numbers are,
mm-hmm.
we can actually decide who the next public official is gonna be in that area.
Wow. Yeah, that's what we, want to achieve with that. And we are coming
So you
up
said
on our time.
in the runoff in the 6th ward, the
Uh-huh,
Sawyer got only about 2,000 votes,
mm-hmm,
but that was enough for him to avoid a runoff.
yeah. Yeah,
He's the next alderman with 2,000. You know how many people live in the 6th ward?
I don't. I didn't look at the number.
70 to 80,000 people.
Wow. And they didn't come out. Wow. Wow. Well, I certainly thank all of you who watched today for the Wake Up Hour. Join us again next week, same time at 1 p.m. on Wednesday, the Black Coffee Wake Up Hour, where we are engaging our viewers and the electorate for our 4 E's. Educate, engage, encourage, and empower. We are building our body politic.
Yeah. We need you to be a part of that body politic. We will not succeed without you.